George Romero is best known for his many Undead films, beginning with the groundbreaking Night of the Living Dead. But in 1977, he did his own original take on one of film's most enduring monsters, the vampire. By night, he feasts on blood. By day, he delivers meat for his Uncle Cuda. Sounds like a guy you really don't want to order a blood sausage from. But is Martin really a vampire, or the victim of family superstition and his own alienation? Martin is not the typical film vampire. He sedates his victims not with magic powers, but a drugged syringe. He taps into veins not with his fangs, but with the help of a razor. Martin is played very memorably by John Amplas, with awkward innocence and vulnerability, reminding us of the possibility that he may just be a very troubled young man, taking a very deviant way to satisfy his urges, and no Jerry Springer show to go on. His memories or hallucinations of vampiric episodes throughout his life are flashed back in black and white. Martin's closest family dies and he comes to Pittsburgh to stay with his grand-uncle Tata Cuda, played by Lincoln Mazel. Cuda is just one black bolo tie away from being a Colonel Sanders look-alike. Dressed in an all-white suit and tie to match his hair and goatee, Cuda walks Martin to his home, which is booby-trapped with religious symbols, garlic wreaths, and 7 herbs and spices to keep Martin in control. I like my vampires extra crispy.
Look how he eats. Pan gris!
You may come and go, but you will not take people from the city. If I hear of it a single time, I will destroy you without salvation.
Romero fans will feel right at home, not only for the visit to Pennsylvania, but some Night of the Living Dead alumni make appearances. One of the bigger roles goes to Tom Savini himself, working with Romero for the first time and as an actor, not just a special effects makeup genius. Savini plays the boyfriend of Martin's cousin, Christine, played by Christine Forrest, who also shares a room and board at Cuda's. Oddly enough, Savini had a nose job sometime after this movie, and Christine herself became George Romero's wife. Martin is not totally convinced he's a vampire either. He has been brought up as the family's shame. Cuda constantly refers to him as Nosferatu.
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 Reside ergo in nomine Patris et Filii Spiritu et Sancti.
Vampire. First, I will save your soul. Then I will destroy you.
However, Martin mocks the garlic and the crucifixes for having no effect on him.
You see? You see? You see? It isn't magic.
He is quiet when first meeting people, but eventually comes out of his shell with Christine even confessing that he's 84 years old. She seems to be shocked and saddened by his dementia. Martin soon starts delivering meat from Cuda's butcher shop. As the old hags around the store harass him for being lazy, on his deliveries, he meets a kindly MILF, Abby Santini, who likes to answer the door in her underwear. She forgets to ask him for the sausage, though. Waka chicka, waka chicka. Instead, she gives Martin a ride back into town, and he slowly continues to come out of his shell with each chore he helps her out with, fantasizing about a real relationship and sexy stuff. Abby seems to have her own inner turmoils and have a desire for Martin being there to listen, which actually creates an intimate relationship between the two. It's in these subtexts where the movie goes deeper than most horror films and is very fascinating to watch, even when Mrs. Santini has her pants on.
Never talk back. Say, do you do any other jobs? Yard work? Handiwork? Stuff like that? Well, maybe we can work something out. See you next week.
Martin begins to call a talk radio station and starts to confess about the much less glamorous life of a real vampire, known only by the nickname The Count. Given by the talk show host on the radio, Martin talks about his desire for a real relationship and intimacy without having to spill blood. Unfortunately, Martin continues to satisfy his urges the only way he really knows how, by stalking more MILFs, having an ice cream sandwich, pretending to be mute, and sneaking into the homes of cheating housewives with syringes and razors. Martin's relationship with Miss Santini finally gets closer, too close for Cuda. Only an exorcist can help now. A priest played by George Romero himself offers direction on trying some divine intervention.
Do you believe in demons, Father Howard? Do you believe the devil can enter a person's soul?
I don't know what to believe about that.
Father Howard, would you like some more cookies?
No, thanks.
Can I get you anything else?
No, I'm fine.
If our priests cannot save us from such things, who can, Father Howard?
You should talk to Father Zulimus about this.
Father
Zulimus.
Zulimus.
He's a great old guy. He claims to have actually done the old mystical rites for real. You know, he went to see that film, The Exorcist. He said they did it all wrong.
Zulimus.
I don't suppose you saw that movie. I thought it was great.
The ceremony and rites delivered by an older priest only drive Martin into more of a bloodlust, and when seeking the comfort of his relationship with Miss Santini, he soon has the wind taken out from under his vampiric wings. You're left to draw your own conclusions about whether or not Martin is indeed a vampire, but you probably realize it's not that important. The film is deeper than Dracula's tomb. The film has kind of a dry color to it, a few creepy little images and some nice visual composition. The music has some nice parts that really help set a somber tone for its inner turmoils. The weakest part of the movie is probably around a cop action scene near the end, but it's definitely not an action movie. Overall, Martin is a brilliant twist on the vampiric film, deeply fascinating and thought-provoking. Martin is both innocent and deviant, having a vulnerable human nature, a bit more fascinating to watch than the average gothic and romantic vampire. The fact that Martin and Abby Santini are mentally troubled, struggling with their own demons, and probably hoping this relationship will bring themselves where they think they want to be, makes it a pretty tragic movie in the end. The themes of self-doubt, depression, tragedy, and alienation are very effective.
Nosferatu.
I give it 4.5 ice cream sandwiches or blood sausages out of 5. Mix and match. Here's to the count, wherever you are.